Hi, I'm Aaliyah, and I will be educating the caregivers today on sensory processing disorder, specifically sensory modulation disorder presenting as sensory overresponsivity. So, sensory processing disorder is a disorder that affects how the brain receives and responds to information being transmitted through the senses. The senses include sight, sound, touch, taste, smell, and even some people are considering proprioception as sense, which is just a fancy word that means, it describes how we keep track of where our body parts are while we're moving. So children with sensory processing disorder may be oversensitive or undersensitive to certain sensory stimuli, which can lead to challenges in self-regulation and responses to behaviors. So from my understanding of our conversation and my evaluations, your toddler tends to avoid loud noises and certain textures, such as anything rough feeling, like how you mentioned how he hates the way the hairbrush feels on his scalp when you're brushing his hair. So at first, these may not seem like a big deal or like a huge concern. You may think, okay, let's just make sure we don't take him anywhere that's loud, or okay, we won't brush his hair. But at the end of the day, these solutions aren't very practical. We have to think, so like what happens when your child gets invited to a birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese or like another party place that has a lot of children running around? They're screaming, there's loud music. If we don't intervene now, he'll continue with his avoidant behavior that you mentioned, like from him crying, running away, looking for a place to hide, and overall he's just not going to be very comfortable, and we don't want that. What if one day you and your child have to be somewhere like really important and he's having a meltdown because he doesn't want you to brush his hair? Like, that's just things that we can't have happen on a regular basis. So with occupational therapy, we can definitely help your child self-regulate in these situations. So for everything you told me about your child, he definitely is experiencing sensory over-responsivity. So I would like to tell you about how to manage sensory integration for this. First, it's important to identify triggers, which we have, so you understand what it is specifically that triggers this behavior, the loud noise, and the texture from like brushing the hair. We can create a sensory-friendly environment by using sensory tools. So like I said, the loud noises, it causes him stress and he needs help calming down. So I recommend maybe getting him a pair of noise-canceling headphones and just carry those around with you everywhere that you go. When it starts to get too loud for him, just have him put those headphones on, and that will prevent the triggering negative behaviors as a response to the noise. Like if you're at home and it gets too noisy, if you have other children or other things going on, the TV's too loud, he can also still wear the headphones at home, and you can also promote the environment by dimming the lights. That tends to help calm the nerves, and just providing a comfortable place for him to sit or rest, and that helps creates a sensory-friendly environment for him as well. When he gets upset during hair brushing or anything with a similar texture, we can help him learn coping strategies such as deep breathing or like sensory grounding techniques. There's a technique called the 5-4-3-2-1 method, and that's just where you engage all the 5 senses. For example, ask him to list 5 things he sees, 4 things he can touch, 3 things he can smell, and so on. This just helps distract him from focusing on the negative feeling of the hairbrush, just like distracting him, putting his brain somewhere else. So as far as promoting sensory integration, I just recommend promoting sensory integration by providing a sensory-rich environment, like we talked about, and also including structured sensory activities. Together during OT, we can come up with a list of your child's interests and create a sensory bin for him. A sensory bin is just a bunch of things that he likes in his bin that just promotes like touch or like audio, whatever it is that can just help calm his senses. But when he's feeling overwhelmed, he can fidget with the items in the sensory bin or use them to help calm him, like I said. So after what we've discussed so far, I just want to know, do you feel confident in implementing sensory strategies recommended by OT at home or in other settings that he may be in, like at a birthday party or at school, daycare, etc. And when you do try these and let's say you're just struggling that day or they work normally but something's not working, there are additional resources out there. There is a website called childmindinstitute.org, and they provide very helpful tools, very useful tools and suggestions for various sensory processing issues. There's also things in there to help parents understand their child better and to just help them, like just little things you can do to help them succeed in their everyday life.